Hey, it's Ted McGrath. So I'm going to talk to you about the power of storytelling right now and how you can use it in your brand to inspire and attract your perfect client, how you can use storytelling in your marketing to grow your audience, and more importantly, storytelling that's inspired me as an actor as well as an entrepreneur, and how I use it on both platforms to attract my perfect client. So if you like the content that I'm going to share at any time, just give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel, because every week I release 2 new videos and will notify you if you subscribe when they're coming out. So first and foremost, the one story that really changed my life was not a story that I saw on Broadway. It wasn't even a movie that I saw. I was at a business conference and this guy came out on stage dressed in a football uniform, and he started performing and telling us his life story, a guy by the name of Eason. And he talked about how he was young and he was the runt of the litter in terms of football, meaning his brother Tony was the big star in the family in football, and he was the runt. He was the smaller one, less athletic ability, and he really had to work hard, but he had a dream at like 9 years old to play in the NFL. And eventually, after getting cut from his high school teams and stuff, he eventually made it to the NFL, and he became one of the top cornerbacks and safeties while he was doing that. And he went on to do this play, and we were at this conference, and it was so unexpected, number one, which is probably why it was so great, and number two, by the end, I stood up, and it was a standing ovation, and 1,000 people were enthralled. And I remember looking at my friend next to me, I'm like, that's what I'm gonna do. Now, at the time, I was not a performer, so to speak, in terms of being an actor or doing any plays or anything like that. I hadn't done any performance since the time I was a kid, at like 7 and 8 years old, you know, doing little foul mouth, you know, Eddie Murphy impersonations. I always had the knack for doing stuff like that inside of me. I just never followed my path and kind of went the other direction of finance and money in my 20s, which wasn't really my real purpose in life. It wasn't the main thing I was called to do. So when I saw this, it really ignited something in me. And part of it is because storytelling takes you on a journey that, number one, it brings you on the journey as if you're going through the story as the character. So when you watch a really good story, when you're telling it to people in the present tense, then they're kind of like enthralled and they're engaged and they feel like they're in the present moment going through the story with you. So if I were to tell a story and go, you know, I remember that time when I was at the lake and we were diving off the, you know, the wood in the lake, and we jumped in, you know, 20 feet down. It's not really a story, right? It's kind of like remembering something. But if I say to you, you know, I'm standing on the edge of the platform and I'm looking down in the water and my heart's beating and I'm like, I don't know, should I jump right now? It's kind of high, guys. It looks a little bit scary to me. That's more in the present tense of bringing you there in the moment, of speaking in the present tense in the present moment. Now, there's times in storytelling where you talk in the past tense, particularly when you're narrating and things like that, and I do that in my play all the time. But being present in the present moment, you can really get people there. So that's one technique of it. Number two is make the story really good to where you have a pit moment that really pulls people in, which means there's a moment of loss for the character where the character is like in tragedy. And you're rooting for the character to get out of this pit moment. It's like the dragons are breathing down his throat, the fire's close, and he's gonna get burned up. And you're like, man, this guy's going down in flames. And then something happens and he starts to reach and search, and he comes out of the pit and he's aiming for something. He's searching for something, some big moment, some big breakthrough that's going to change everything for him. And that's really a lot of what the hero's journey is about. That's like my version of it, right? So a good story has that. It has that pit, right? It has that search for the answers, and it has that breakthrough. So when you're telling a story, that's something that really inspires people. When I was watching the play that I saw on stage with this guy doing the one-man play, I was pulled in because he had a dream, right? And his dream was to play professional football, and then his pit was that he wasn't talented. He didn't have the talent like his brother did, so he had all the odds stacked against him. So you're really rooting for him because he's the underdog, right? When I wrote my play, Good Enough, and I wrote the story of good enough, my whole thing was I never felt good enough. So I go through a lot of tragedy as a kid, and I reveal some very, very dark things, some very, very, not painful moments, because I don't look back at them as painful anymore, but some moments that most people would go, wow, I can't believe he shared that intimate stuff, because you start to like feel for me as the character in the story and go, wow, really rooting for this guy. You know, he had a little bit of a rough get up in this thing at his younger age, and now he's really going for it. He's going for his dream. But along the way, you see me going for my dream and screwing up, and going for my dream and screwing up, and going for I keep crashing and burning up and down and up and down, and such is life, right? You see that a lot in life. So when you see a story like that, you're really resonating with like, oh, he's gonna make it, oh, crash. Oh, he's gonna make it, oh, crash. Now you don't want to have too much rhythm of crashing up, because it just becomes the same cycle. But you want to have a few of those, few good ones, if not at least one in a story, right? So, and a good story keeps you on the edge, like, will he make it? Will he make it? You know, he's searching for something. So that was something that really, truly inspired me, you know? And I think if you're going to use storytelling today, you can use those basic principles of one, if you're selling a product, and you know, bringing this back to a product, it's just the technique and the marketing of selling stuff. I far prefer the storytelling. I have my own one-man play since I saw this guy do it 7 years ago. And his name was Eason, by the way. Check out his stuff. And it was really cool because I saw that and it inspired me to do my own. And today I'm on the path where I just had 2,500 people, you know, register to come see my show virtually, because when COVID hit, we couldn't go to Scotland, we couldn't go to New York, we couldn't do the tour here in LA. So all of that hit, and we had to kind of switch modalities or switch modes and do something different. So we did virtual. And so now storytelling is being done virtual. I have a 70-minute play. You'll see it online. I advertise it all over the place now. And you can watch the virtual play in 70 minutes from the comfort of your own home, right? So storytelling has really enhanced my brand, because I have a business brand, which is Message to Millions, and we use storytelling to promote products. So anytime I'm selling a product, to talk about my journey and, you know, my challenge, and then my breakthrough, which led to the product that I'm selling. So I use it in selling all my products. I use it as part of my brand building. I use it in 60-second versions, 3-minute versions, 15-minute versions when I'm speaking on a stage, and 70 minutes, of course, when I'm performing my play. I'm using it now. I'm doing a feature film on my life story, so I'm acting and playing myself, and we start filming that next year. I'm doing a documentary, so we use storytelling there. So there's so many aspects of storytelling that's been a part of my life that I'm using in every aspect of my career now as an actor, and also in my business and marketing my products. And I've integrated the two. So you can really do storytelling. It's powerful. And you know, you can do different versions. You know, if you're selling something that's a low tier product that's maybe 20 bucks, 30, 50 bucks, do a 30-second story. And that would encapsulate your pit moment and then kind of your breakthrough moment. That's all you really have time for in 30 seconds. You tell them about the pit, you tell them about the breakthrough, and you're like, you know, go buy this product, right? In a 60-second or 90-second one, you could tell a little bit more about your story, get a little bit more present in the storytelling. And then if you're gonna sell something bigger, like $1,000, $2,000 online, you should probably have like a 3-minute story for that, maybe 2 minutes. Okay? So that's basically how I roll with it. I hope this serves you. Power of storytelling, it's awesome. And you know, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and you can subscribe to the channel to get more content like this. I release new content every single week, twice a week. And if you subscribe, we notify you when it comes out, so you can be one of the first to watch it, okay? Hope this serves you, and so you don't miss it. All right, see you soon.